But before we start the review, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment below and join the discussion. Also, don't forget to tune in for the Korean Bloggers podcast, which happens every Monday and Thursday.
Be mindful of what you put in your mind, body, and soul. It's very important. The things that you digest as far as social media, movies, and all that stuff, man, it might be affecting you a little bit more than what you might be thinking.
Hello and welcome to CellReviews. It's your boy DJ T Cell, and we are back for another review on Statistic TV. Today we are reviewing Big Krit with his brand new album, Krit is Here. Of course, with this title, it's kind of a nod back to the breakout mixtape that he done back in 2011, I believe, which was called Krit Was Here, which was really heavily rated in the underground scene. A lot of people don't know about Krit being a rapper. Like, a lot of people know him for his productions, but he has actually broken out of that and is starting to rap a lot more now. He has been producing music for a slew of artists. He has produced for the likes of Chris Brown, Ludacris, Freddie Gibbs. So it's safe to say that he's very well connected in the game. He's very well respected. In fact, I personally think that he is the J. Cole of the underground scene. If you can regard it, I think J. Cole is more mainstream now, so I can say Krit is filling in his spot. Funny enough, before listening to this, I was listening to Blueface. A lot of people has been pretty much speaking about this guy, even though it's coming from a sense of hatred. I personally, I come across his songs mainly because of the fact that I listen to X amount of songs every day, but like 20 to 50 songs a day. But when it comes to Blueface now, I have always skipped over his tracks. I've never really listened to his tracks. I think Tatiana was probably the only one that really was pushed on me, if that makes sense. When I say pushed on me, I mean it was so in my ear so much that I could not close my ears to actually ignore the sound. It still penetrated through my hands the same way that those nails penetrated through Christ's hands. So it was time. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me actually give this artist a chance and hear what he has to say. Yo, it was terrible. I mean, at first I thought, okay, he might have something going here. In my opinion, at first I thought, there is something about him that could be sold and marketed, but when he tries to go on beat, he's off beat. Some people make a career out of that. Some people like rapping off beat. He thought he does it with ease, but he's still the greatest. He's like he does a good off beat because he chooses to. But when it comes to Blueface, he doesn't actually go well on beat. So when he goes on beat, it sounds way worse than when he does off beat. So it was, for me, I just couldn't bother listening to him ever again. I can't stomach his music. What does this have to do with Krit though? This has everything to do with Krit, because Krit is one of these artists, in my opinion, that is now doing what I think a lot of the underground artists don't do. He even said in an interview he had to get out of his comfort zone.
I got to be bigger this time.
Why I gotta be bigger if you so incredible your damn self?
Because for me, it's like what I was dealing with is I always felt like I almost got in a comfort zone. I was like, all right, I'm underground, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I literally did a convention with Rico Love 2 years ago, and Mace was on stage too. And Rico was like, man, you're doing a disservice to the people that support you, because you can actually be doing records like this or working with these people,
right?
But you so comfortable, just you do it yourself and boom.
Yeah.
And it was like a challenge, but a good one.
Yeah.
He's like, man, come work with me. And so upon working with him in Danger, and when the first few songs we did, I was like, oh no, this is totally different.
Yeah.
This feels different. Like the way we creating is different. It's not me having to produce it, then I gotta take a few days off. It's like, no, we knocking them out. And then it's like, oh, this like, well, maybe we should restructure this. I'm so used to doing it myself.
Yeah. And
it's on the show on the album, man. And I'm still being me.
Yeah.
For someone to say that I have to get out of my comfort zone, that shows you that level of growth, that he knows that the sound he has needs to reach the mainstream, but he's gonna have to do some things in which to get there. Nothing wrong with lyricists, but we got to ponder comfort zone versus challenging yourself. The challenge will be to stay on beat for him. But in the case of Krit, I believe, as he put it himself, the challenge for him was to let go of the production. And like I can imagine how hard that must have been for him, because when you're producing your own projects and when you're writing your own projects, I can see you having an idea and you just have that freedom to execute it how you want to. I mean, it's not to say that Krit was bad on his own, because he really wasn't. I mean, his debut album, Cadillactica, I can't don't try and make me to pronounce that. But yes, his debut album basically was possibly sonically sounding great album for a debut album, and he has been doubling up and improving himself time after time. But I think this is the first time he's really stepped out to work with artists that he's never worked before. The main themes that are actually explored in the album is mainly change and the embracing of it, realism, optimism, mainly faith that's explored. Not the faith in the sense of a deity, but just mainly self-belief. All those things, all those good stuff. That's basically explored a lot on this album. The track Every Time featuring Baby Rose kind of exemplified the optimism that's really exuded on this album, that's really oozed out by Krit. There was this lyric that he basically said here in the first verse: "Go chain, go rings, no medal for this. Life's an uphill battle, no pedal for this." That's the storytelling aspect that it has. It says to you can have the gold chains, you can have the go rings, but there's still no medal for the work that he's done. Medal being that the recognition that one would receive. Yeah, the last album that he received a nomination was it wasn't an album. Like it was the BET 2011 awards that he received a nomination for Return of Forever mixtape, and that's pretty much it. So for you to release 4 albums and they're not even being nominated or being looked at or being praised like that, it is something that an artist will be looking at and being like, what the hell? There's a couple more bars in that first verse. Actually, there's one bar that really stuck out to me, and that was when he said, "Life's an uphill battle, no pedal for this." I mean, it's in 8 lines. It pretty much captured my life, and the reason why I say pretty much captured my life is because these 8 lines. Imagine trying to go up a hill on a pedal bike. Like but that's actually, in hindsight, what life actually is. If you're not where you need to be, or if you haven't really unloaded that emotional baggage. I mean, the way I'm seeing it, as the way he's building this track off every time, because every time, I believe it's the 7th or 8th track on the album. Sorry if I got that wrong, but yes, the way that he's building it up, as you're listening more, it does get a lot lighter in tone. It does get a lot more introspective, that would make you appreciate the things, because I'm pretty sure that the way he meant that was more of your headspace, the way people view life. Like, it's very hard, and if it changes, it might not be as difficult. Yes, when you look at external factors that you can't control, life is very hard. But when you look at the things that you can control, it does make it a bit easier when you start focusing on them and start controlling it the way you want to. But of course, this can't speak to everyone. I mean, but I do understand where he's coming from, where he says that he's trying to, because I've been through it. Like, there are difficult, hard times that hit people, and then you're just like, what? But that bar alone has created, it creates topics in your head to make you really want to introspect, which is why I said earlier that this album is very introspective. Another track that really stood out to me is Life in the Sun. It's not really, it's more for the comedic aspect of it. Like, and I love this when rappers insert comedy into their songs. But before I go into this part, I want to talk about that J. Cole verse. I want to talk about Prove It with J. Cole. First of all, like I said earlier in the review, I'm very happy to have seen J. Cole's name on the feature list on this album. simply because of the fact that I've been wanting J. Cole to feature and work with Krit for such a long time, and for him to bring in that the example of the fan that has been following him for years, shout her out, and then basically wishes her that she gets to whatever audio that she's going through. I don't know who this fan is. Like I can probably try and Instagram. It highlighted what Krit has been saying in so many interviews that he's gone on, in so many press run that he's done for this album. Yeah. So the next track is Life in the Sun. Life in the Sun is a lot more. It's a lot more lyrical. In my opinion, it's a lot more nuanced. It's a lot more. What's the word I'm actually looking for? It's a lot more scarier in tone, simply because of the messages that he's talking about here on this on the track here. Jackers be robbing and plotting and killing too. Batman and Robin, they villains too. Jokers, they smile, they wave, colorful hair, but they judging the fade. Now, I love that. I love that because I love that a lot, because Batman and Robin, a lot of people see them as heroes, but they are really just vigilantes, and they are. It must be noted that they only rose up because if you watch me for first and foremost, yeah, as a comic book nerd, as a comic book fan, seeing references like this in songs will always have my heart, no matter what song it is. It could be you farting for the whole song, but if I hear you say Batman and Robin or Superman or The Flash or Spider-Man in your track while you're farting, I will say that that's the best track ever on earth. Like Batman and Robin only rose out of the shadows and started defending Gotham City when the bridges were burned out and society, the criminals turned into complete anarchy rule. The GCPD really needed a hero, someone to really take the criminals back to their place. Batman did that, but he's still a criminal because of the things that he done. If you watch Gotham series, you would know that he is not really as great, as good as people think. He did kill Ra's al Ghul, which pretty much changed him, made him a lot darker. There's so many things that Batman has done. Batman has turned evil at one point. So many things, so many things that if I was to go through on this review, it would be too long. But yeah. So it was good that I know that, and the wordplay as well to transition to Jokers, they smile and wave. It was actually, I saw that coming, in my opinion. I really saw that coming, but it's what he said afterwards that really caught my eye. He said, "Why are your jaw just to talk like Kanye?" So basically, he's talking about the influx of tone, like the way that rappers sound nowadays. They try to talk like Kanye, but they sound like the same way that he sounded on Through the Wire is how they sound like today. MAGA your hat just to feel like you're paid. This is assimilation into the game. Like they assimilate. It's kind of a dual meaning here, because one, it shows assimilation to be not just to be accepted, but to feel like just because they're around someone that's got a lot of money, a lot of influence, a lot of wealth, just by being around them, it makes them look wealthy as well. It's kind of a commentary to say, Kanye, you're wealthy. Kanye, you are well respected as well. Your political views are your political views, but you didn't have to do that part, basically. But to go to here is basically describing it's a bit of social commentary, describing a new age. To a lot of people are assimilating. A lot of people are trying to show off that like they're made, like they're rich, and they're not, or that they're struggling. So that's what Krit is trying to tell us. Everyone's about image nowadays. The album, like I said, it's got a lot of the album has got a lot of nuance to it. It's got a lot of themes that I really enjoyed listening to this album. I personally gave it an 85% out of 100. The tracks on my K.R.I.T definitely is the track with Saweetie and Lil Wayne, Addiction. I can't get enough of that track. Like yes, it's a lot on the pleasure side, no doubt. But the bars from each artist, except for Saweetie, I think she was doing more the hook. Both Krit and Lil Wayne brought their A game, and for a commercial, more driven track, it's very well needed. So thank you so much for checking out this review. I'm curious to know your thoughts in the comment section. In terms of Krit challenging himself and getting out of his comfort zone, I'm here for it. I really think that he should be rewarded for that. I really think that he should be praised for doing something like that, because it is easy to do and just rap and stay in the underground as long as you want. That's easy, but it takes a different kind of thing. It takes a different kind of artist to really know who to work with. But yeah, that's all I have to say in terms of people that are pushing their comfort zones, that are trying to get out of comfort zone. I'm all for it. I'm all here for it. Krit was a great album. Addiction was probably the only track that's made it to my song list. I do have my swipes with the album sometimes, but I actually don't. I actually love the way it ended as well. That little scare at the end got me laughing. Mississippi as well was probably a very well produced track, dynamic in nature. I can't really fault this album, in my opinion. It was a good album, and he's starting to do a lot more press tour for it now. So hopefully it gets the recognition it deserves.